What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rear Naked Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie Kilstein.
And I'm Drew Weatherhead. We have got two guests for you today. We're coming back strong.
Jesus Christ. I thought it was the Drysdale episode. We're interviewing Robert Drysdale for next week. We bumped these two guests for the coronavirus last week, and now we have our...
It's all very confusing. We have more guests than we know what to do with right now. We have Tom Halpin, who is the winner of EBI Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds.
Such a cool fucking guy.
Yeah, he kicked ass too without having to slap ass. He literally choked and tapped. I did not. No, that was right off the cuff. This is how funny I am.
Do you want me to hold on? I'm going to put the mic down and clap for that. Could you feed it to me one more time? Feed it to me one more time.
Okay, so he kicked ass without having to slap ass.
There we go. True. Okay.
We need a live studio audience for this shit, swear to God.
Ooh. Remember anytime like a hot 90s girl in jean shorts would walk onto camera? Oh.
Why don't we have any of those?
I don't know, man. Get on it, audience. Does anybody work in the 1980s to 90s multicam sitcom world? Please drop us some laugh tracks at Rear Naked Radio podcast at gmail.com.
As cool as it would be kind of creepy to see somebody, some lady behind you in high crop jeans just walk by while we're podcasting.
Oh, that would
be like, Jamie, you're being broken into.
Yeah, but I'd be like, but she looks like Christina Applegate, so it's all good. I'm going fucking crazy here. Okay, sorry, hold on. So we have Tom Halpin, and then we also have from
the one, the only, the Aussie, the good cunt, Craig Jones. We took such advantage of this word, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, we sure did. Guys, trigger warning if you are a cunt.
We just lost our whole cunt audience. Damn.
God damn it. You know what's so upsetting? I just had a network Zoom call with some executives who wanted to make Rear Naked Radio the television show. And what really sold them was I said our cunt demographic through the roof. Cunts ages 18 to 35 and male. And they were like, well, that's exactly the demo we're looking for. And now they're gone.
Oh man, we should have got them early. Knew this was going to happen.
This, you know what? Fucking Hollywood.
Fuck Craig Jones. I'm going to get on that hashtag.
Oh yeah, I get it. We didn't even ask him about that, but
no, we didn't.
Highlight of the episode for me is when he tells us something legitimately horrifying about Jake Shields. I won't give it away. It's at the end. It's definitely true because I know Jake. I don't even need to confirm it. I know he believes this, and it's horrific. It's so bad.
I get into all of the juicy controversies too, guys, so hang on to your butts. We've got Tom, who's going to act like a professional, and then we got Craig, who's going to talk about internet gossip.
Yeah, sorry, real quick. Did you write hang on to your butts before the episode?
No, I held on to that one from Jurassic Park 1.
Okay, great. Could you just feed it to me one more time, please?
Okay, you got to picture me being black with a cigarette hanging out my mouth and go, all right, hang on to your butts. Yeah. And that's
Black Drew.
That's where I throw the breaker switch and the Raptors eat us all.
Oh, but instead of the Raptors, it's Corona. Hey, guys, have you all stopped fucking training yet? Good.
This is gonna be weird the way we're time stamping this a little bit, but it's kind of a strange time right now worldwide because the different people that I talk to in different regions all have a kind of a different view. So we talked to Tom on the last episode, Tom Jessup in South Korea, who'd been in it for 5 weeks. I was just talking recently here today with my friend Sile, who runs Rubber Guard Assassins in Germany, and he's like 3 weeks in. And they're seeing wild shit there, and we're over here kind of in North America wringing our hands being like, we've been in this for 2 days and we're going insane.
What are we gonna be? Yeah, I mean, man, it's all I've been talking about on my podcast because I also feel like, so we don't have to get into it a ton. I'm really excited about these interviews. They're really fun. They're really funny. They're really informative. It'll be kind of nice for you guys actually just to sort of like melt into the old days, the pre-corona days, and just hear dope jiu-jitsu interviews.
Yeah, there's very little corona involved.
Very little. I will say though, and I said this on my podcast today, but I think it's important. You're gonna fluctuate like mood wise, and like that's okay. So I've been on this big on my podcast, like sort of, I hate saying the word self-help, but sort of like self-improvement, right? Like we're all trying to like be healthy and love ourselves a little more and eat better and fucking meditate and shit like that. And it is fucking hard to do with all this stuff going on. And I noticed, and this actually ties into jiu-jitsu habits as well, is sometimes you get the most depressed. Like, okay, so we've gotten lots of emails from people who are hurting because they're not training. And these aren't world-class competitors. They're like blue belts. And I think part of that reason is...
That was just a shot to all world champion blue belts.
Yeah. That's not real. And so... and this is the same with when you're trying, anytime you see improvement. So, oh my God, I'm starting to eat better, but then you're invited to like 3 weddings, or, oh my God, my jiu-jitsu, I'm finally figuring it out, but then your gym shuts down, or, oh, you know, I've meditated every day and I felt good, but then you sleep late one day and you miss it. The key is not to completely fucking derail. And especially now with Corona, with everything being kind of more difficult, you have to really savor your victories, because the thing with depression is thinking that you are this unsavable, broken monster. And so a lot of us don't train for a week and we suddenly feel that way. We don't train, so we eat a little shittier. So we sleep a little later, and suddenly we're just like, we're pieces of shit. But really what you have to do is just intellectualize that a really hard, scary, weird thing is going on right now. And if you hit 3 out of your fucking 5, 6 goals for the day, you're still kind of winning. Does that make sense?
I feel like this is maybe the first time that the first world has had to deal with a third world problem. I think that's what the thing is right now. We're all used to first world problems where we can't go to Starbucks, or they're out of my latte. And now it's, I can't go to Starbucks because of the fucking plague is killing our entire population. We're running out of food. Everybody's flipping cars and looking for toilet paper under rocks.
And toilet paper. Yeah, that's really a good point, man. And not to be like too hippie, but to be fair, I was hilarious in the beginning of this episode, which is this should give us more empathy for around the world. I haven't talked about this yet, but like I was thinking about it today, where instead of us just being fucking monsters, we should kind of take a second to be like, oh shit, the entire world is dealing with the same thing right now. You know what I mean? Like we're dealing with what these other countries that to us may just seem like countries we hear about in passing, but aren't real. Like I remember I did shows in China, and my first thought was, and this is going to sound hyperbolic, but my first thought was, oh, fuck, China's real. Like when I landed there, I was like, this is crazy, because you just hear China, but then you land in China and you go, oh, fucking hell, I'm in China.
Yeah.
Like it's so much different when you're there, which means like, that's why I'm so glad lots of jiu-jitsu people travel, because if we hear about, you know, when all that crazy shit was happening in Brazil, it's like we know people in Brazil.
Yeah. It's kind of like we were saying, like we got people in South Korea, we got people in Germany, we got people in the US, we got people in Brazil. And
so like just my point is this should unite us more, instead of, you know, anytime you start to go down that fear, just gross, like, oh, I'm gonna blame another fucking country, or start getting all like nationalistic or whatever. It's like, let's just take a minute to be like, hey, we're all sort of feeling the same thing right now. Like China, here, Brazil, everywhere. It's like, we're all kind of scared. We're all freaking out. We're all trying to take care of our families. We're all, you know, blah, 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 blah.
What if this is what it takes for the IBJJF to let the Globetrotters back in? What if they just like, we're all one, guys. I don't know what I was thinking. We were kind of out of line. I apologize.
The head of the IBJJF just bowed and hands the guy a roll of toilet paper. And it's just like,
you still got to pay for your memberships, but we could really use those, to be honest. So if you pay like in advance for the next couple of years. Hey, you know what is probably the best answer, the best first world answer to this third world problem?
What's that?
In respect to the coronavirus, we need to go to war. We need to go to war because Jocko is telling us to. He sent me this. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
This is Jocko Cold War
I got
supplement.
nothing. That's cool.
Well, I guess
Right.
they made their choice. I mean, they can only keep one of us around. And
let's also be honest. I've been too afraid to check my mail, so
it's probably there. It could have saved you.
I walked by the mailbox today, saw 3 old people, and was like, "No thanks,
peace out."
I'm starting to do that thing where, like, for the last couple months on my podcast, after the mushrooms thing, I'm like, we're all love. I'm talking to strangers. I'm trying to like make people's day, all this stuff. Now, if someone walks near me, I get so mad. I'm just like, bye, have a nice day. Like, I'll try to say something nice, but as I'm speed walking away, like the mail woman was wrapping up and she's like, everything's going to be fine. And I was like, I don't like that language. And so I was waiting and then I couldn't wait anymore. And I was like, I'm going to walk away from this lady. But I was like, no, we're all love. I have to be higher vibration than that. So I walked away and I was like, thank you so much for doing this job. I know you're probably going through a lot and it's a difficult time. And then I just like sped walk back to my apartment. It was fucking horrible. It was very
well, you know what war has is casualties, and I think our sensibilities are taking a heavy L on this one. So
what are those fucking pills you got?
These things are
they roids?
They are roids, but roids for your immune system. This is Cold War. Look, it's got a tank on it. It means fucking business.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is war against colds, and coronavirus is a version of the cold. So look, they were very, very preemptive when it came to taking care of their sponsors.
Yeah,
their sponsorees.
Last week we said some libelous, untrue things about how
isn't that every week?
About how Jocko Gis can save you and protect you from the coronavirus. Now, look,
hey, this stuff will actually do it, though.
I'm just saying. I was gonna say, upon further reflection, I don't know. I have no evidence that the Gis can protect you from the coronavirus, and I do apologize. But I am saying with 100% certainty that if you buy Jocko's, only if you use the promo code Rear Naked, by the way, Jocko's Cold War, it will 100%. Guaranteed.
I'm so secure in how immune I am right now that I've took 3 pills, which it suggests to do daily. First time today, I took 3 of them and went out and kissed every old person I could find on the mouth.
That's all he's doing. Drew has been going from barbecue to barbecue. He has reopened his jiu-jitsu club only for people with corona, which I thought was a bold, because they have fucking feelings too. It's like, hey, you're going to die. You might as well get some rolls in. And good work. Thank you to Origin Maine. They also have the best Gis in the fucking world. All their products are made in fucking America.
Yes.
Sorry to both of our trader guests who snuck into this country. # build a wall.
Sons of bitches.
Where's Craig in fucking New York giving everybody corona? Probably some
and super pink eye.
This shit started in Australia. And originmain.com. Use promo code Rear Naked. You get 10% off everything. So if you're going to go buy this, buy some fucking boots while you're there. You get 10% off.
All right. Well, let's travel back in time and talk to Tom Halpin and Trey Jones.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Dude, we're so excited. I watched all of Combat Jiu-Jitsu this morning because I'm sequestering myself at home since everyone's freaking out about corona.
Yeah.
And are people freaking out? Because have you trained? Are people losing their minds? Because I haven't trained since people have started freaking out.
I haven't trained since then either. I took a couple of days off, but I kind of make it a point. Usually I don't really watch the news much because I just... I don't care that much. But
and if you watch the news, you're like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be bombed by Iran or fucking corona'd by China.
There's only so much space up here for jiu-jitsu ideas, so
I love that.
I'm getting a lot of messages now. A lot of the gyms in Ireland are closing, and there's a lot of I have to figure out like travel plans and different things now. But it should be okay.
Anyway, sorry, Drew, we'll start the interview again. We just talked about it. We're like, all right, we won't bring up corona. And then the second I saw you, I'm like, yo, bud, you got corona? Okay, so interview starting now. So I just watched CJJ and I want to talk about your performance, obviously. But dude, and I had a feeling, because I've never heard you interviewed before, the speech you gave at the end was one of my favorite fucking things I think I've ever seen. for so many reasons. Like, I want to get into the struggles because we talk about like mental health and we talk about blocks in jiu-jitsu a lot on the show. But the first thing I want to hit is what I liked so much about your style, and this is the first time I've really like studied your shit, is how happy you looked doing jiu-jitsu. And something you said in your post win speech even resonated with me, where you were like, I started trying to be like the serious tough jiu-jitsu guy, and that almost took away from your game. And I remember, like, because that's my style, is just like jiu-jitsu is fucking fun. But I remember when I started training with like Marcelo's like comp team, and it was all these like intense 19-year-olds. Suddenly I found myself like hitting the mat and being really dramatic. And I'm like, I'm not a hit the mat guy. What the fuck am I doing? And my game got shittier. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's just, I guess I learned a lot from all the experiences of traveling and being exposed to different jiu-jitsu cultures as I was coming up. Like, I spent a lot of time in Miami and a lot of time in Ireland. And they're very different, like Irish people and a lot of Brazilians there and Americans, and just the way they go about being disciplined is different. We're still disciplined in Ireland, but we kind of more, so we'd be more relaxed about it. We'd be more self-deprecating. We'd be more like, Asher, isn't it great we're here? You know, it's like trying to enjoy the moment a bit more. So I guess, I was just trying to copy other people. It didn't really work out for me, and I went back recently, the last couple of months, to the old style that I had always been doing, where I just have fun and try and do my moves, and
so
definitely be sticking with that.
So it fucking worked. Like, I want to go into that style a little later, but I'm so curious by, like, was there a moment where you realized you were becoming something you kind of weren't? Was that initial, were you kind of doing it to fit in? Were you doing it, and this is all at a subconscious level, obviously, like, you know, we're not in high school anymore, but like, dude, I still succumb to like that kind of pressure. Like, I tell myself I'm sober, but when I hang out with Eddie, it's like, I'm gonna smoke pot. But like, do you, or did you just feel like, well, if these guys are training this way, maybe I was fucking up in Ireland? Like, what was it?
Kind of, as I started to kind of achieve my dreams, shall we say, and start to win big tournaments and win ADCC trials and be among, like, I suppose, some of the top people in the world. I just started trying too hard, over trying, you know, and there's not, the way people sell sports to you a lot is like, you have to try as hard as you can, you have to train 4 times a day, you have to take steroids, you have to do all these things. And I was never into that. I was always the guy that would train once a day, but I would always train. Like, the longest I think I've missed training has been like 2 weeks because I got the flu.
Right.
You know, so I was just trying too hard. I was over trying, and then it was making me careful because I was trying too hard. I was overthinking it, and I wasn't using the kind of automatic part of my brain, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wasn't as creative, because I feel like my style, when I'm best, I'm having fun and I'm very creative. I do a lot of things in competitions that I've never done before. Like, when I watched back the matches from the Combat Jiu-Jitsu at the weekend, I was watching it like a fan. I was like, oh, can't believe
that guy's incredible.
I was like, I didn't know I did that. You know, it was a lot of just feeling what's going on instead of trying to, I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's huge.
There's a term, a Japanese term called mushin, that you're basically describing right now, which is the state of no mind. And that's considered in a lot of Japanese martial arts as one of the highest mental forms to get to when you're fighting, is that you don't, you react to the moment, you flow with their energy. You don't have to predispose yourself to these pathways that have been drilled in, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt at the weekend doing the Combat Jiu-Jitsu. And when I won the ADCC trials as well, I kind of felt that way too. I just felt like it all clicked. And then at ADCC, it was the complete opposite. It's like I was tunnel vision, trying to force things, and it just wasn't working. So,
I know it's going to come up in the conversation, so I'm going to just drop it. Can we talk about how you didn't slap anybody in the slap jitsu competition?
Yeah, I like. Personally, I never enjoyed watching the slapping that much. I'd rather watch MMA, or I'd rather watch normal jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But I guess it does make it exciting in a way, because you can't stall and rest. Like, sometimes in normal EBI, people will flop onto the bottom or they'll be in double guard pull, or they'll be kind of tangling around their legs. So the slapping does help keep it active, but I didn't actually really enjoy people who are just like slapping. I saw some people training on the pad.
If they were to add some other attacks, do you think it would make it more interesting, like some maybe some pinching or some poking?
Some nipple twisters or something.
Yeah, I would go for psychological warfare about people's dad issues and or it's funny. I kind of the first time I saw it, I was like, this is crazy. But every time I watched the recent one, whenever someone did a hard slap, I always forgot, and I'm like, are they mad at each other? But I
think they felt bad to slap me because I wasn't slapping them.
That's hilarious.
There's a tactic. Look at that.
That's so funny.
Like even later in the hotel when I met Kevin, he came up to me and I was like, "Oh, how's the foot? You know, sorry for submitting you in the final." And he's like, "Oh man, it's okay. I'm sorry for hitting you." I was like, "No worries, man."
That's so funny. There's a wrestler. So I knew that you didn't slap because it blew up on Instagram and stuff. But what I didn't know until I watched this morning is this is going to be for like 2 people, and I apologize, but just know you guys, these 2 people are going to be very happy. There is a professional wrestling organization called AEW, which is my favorite professional wrestling organization. And there's a wrestler named Orange Cassidy who literally looks like fucking Ryan Gosling. He wears like a jean jacket, sunglasses, and he comes out and he has his hands in. What's that?
He looks a bit like me as well. So
yes, you and Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Exactly. And he comes out and he puts his hands in his pockets and he just goes like, and he'll do these like little kicks, and then the audience is in on the bit. So like he'll do these like little passive aggressive kicks and the audience will go, oh, or they'll do like the holy shit chant. And then he'll fall down and he'll do like that kip up, but he still has his hands in his pocket. It's fucking incredible. It's my favorite wrestling gimmick. But you did that in the first round where, Drew, I don't know if you saw the first match, but you would like almost fake like.
It was like tips, yeah. I watched it back and I thought it looked a bit disrespectful, but I said to Sheridan afterwards, I was like, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
Dude, it was like, so funny.
It was funny, yeah. I was just trying to enjoy the moment and just.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about, when you said in Ireland, you guys are more self-deprecating, I thought that was really interesting because I've always sort of had this problem. You know, I come from stand-up, and in stand-up, like if I walk backstage to the Comedy Store and I'm like, hey guys, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, everyone will be like, get the fuck out. It's a very self-deprecating world. And I like the honesty. I like honest humility, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But what I love about jiu-jitsu as well is it was the first time I feel like I met confident people in my life. What is that sort of balance, right? What is that balance between flowing and being self-deprecating, but also still having, without going overboard, like you said you did, that athlete mentality of like still being tough and confident and like liking yourself?
Yeah. I think just don't force it. Just you'll find your own way to do it through experience. That's why the experience is, at the end of the day, one of the most important things, because everyone has a different way to do it. And with sports, because I did sports science in college for a few years in university in Ireland. But the thing you find out there is it's sports science, but really there's science around it, but a lot of it is experience, and you need to find out your individual way to do it. So like just through experience, I would find out that the confidence isn't forced. The confidence is just in yourself. I feel like the people who are trying to show you how confident and tough and serious they are, most of the time they are actually the least confident. So
for sure.
I just try and let it ooze out of me, kind of, and I don't even think about it, to be honest. And then it just naturally comes out then, because I really do believe I'm going to win. I can still have fun and joke around, and I've no superstitions or anything either. I don't have to have my lucky mouthpiece. I don't have to, I don't have all these ideas in my head where I have to start on this side of the mat or things have to be perfect for me to win. I honestly think I could get up after half a night's sleep and just go and win.
In a weird way, that's actually more confident than the people.
Do you feel like people who have those superstitions are on a crutch?
A bit. I would just hate. I know a lot of people training and stuff. They don't feel right competing without listening to their favorite music, or when they don't get their full warm up in, and they don't. Just, I think the less attachments you have, the better, and just enjoy experience for what it is, because the unpredictable nature of it is kind of what makes it fun. You don't know when you're going to be on the mat. You don't know what the other guy is going to do to you first, and you just get comfortable in that.
Yeah, totally. You know what's funny is you reminded me of something that happened to me a long time ago. It's been years and years since I've done any MMA, but the last fight I had, they screwed up our walk-in music. So I got my opponent's when I was walking in, and he got mine.
Tell me it was some like Brazilian ballad.
No, it was kind of weird though, because it looked like it affected him. Like I didn't really give a shit, but watching him walk out to my walkout music, he was not down with it.
What was your walkout music? Don't say white supremacy.
Song.
Okay, great.
But yeah, just that little thing, it might have actually fucked with him.
Well, it would, yeah.
Bro, I think that's such a big deal. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said everything you said at Combat Jiu-Jitsu, because like I was writing about it. Now I get to be the person who says in the book I'm writing, but I was writing about it this morning about why people drink, and so many people will say that they drink for confidence. They're not confident or they're scared to go out on dates. And it sort of reminded me of what you said about superstitions. It's like, well, what happens when you don't have alcohol? What happens, if you have a 9 a.m. job interview, are you going to be like, ask me my worst quality? It was when I fucked your mom. You know what I mean? Like, the key would be, as hard as it may be in the beginning, learn to be fucking confident without the crutch. So then anything else you do is like kind of a bonus.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but it's just the experience will get it. And I found when I was like, the big problem for ADCC was all of a sudden it was the biggest competition of my life, and I had it hyped up so much, and I had to try and do everything perfect. So like I stopped going out with my friends as much. I was freaking out if I didn't get 8 or 9 hours sleep a night. I was overtraining. I was doing all these things because in my mind it was the wrong attitude, because I thought like I won't win if I don't do everything perfect.
But what did the part of your brain say, the other side of your brain, that like there must have been, you're a smart dude, there must have been part of you that realized that, and this happens to all of us, like, well, what got me here were these things. But then it's like you're so surrounded by everyone else doing a different thing that there's another part of you that goes, well, I guess I think
I just realized it too late. But it'll be okay. For the next one, I'll be coming, and I'll have a big smile on my face, and I'll hopefully submit everyone.
Dude, this was one of the most fucking insane performances.
It was good. It couldn't have gone better, really.
Did you even freak out when you countered Eminari's Eminari roll in like 20 fucking seconds?
That was like, if a nuclear bomb could go off in your brain, that was probably what it would feel like.
You played it pretty cool.
I looked over at Eddie and I was like,
did you see that?
And I was like, Eddie, the world is flat. It is flat. I was like, whatever you say, Eddie. But yeah, because backstage before it, I was with one of my friends. I hadn't seen him in a few years, but he was coaching me on the day. And I was just talking to him about like the strategy, and I was saying, will I try and pass his guard and get to his back, or what will I do? Because honestly, I was a bit nervous about getting leg locked because he was on good form that day in Minari.
Yeah, that's great.
No, do you know what? I'm going to play with fire, and if he gets me, it just means I need to train a bit more. But I think I'll be able to get him, and then get down how it did. But I think just not being afraid of it going in, I just kind of decided, I picked my strategy that I'm sticking to that, and then I just wasn't afraid, and I was actually surprised.
I will pay you all of my money to be my mental health coach. This is everything you're saying is so important.
I'm still wrong about a lot of things I'd say, but I like trying to figure it out.
Before we let you go here, I have to talk about the medal that they put around your neck, and I gotta know that you wear that in public.
They took it back.
What?
They took the Flavor Flav medal back?
Oh, dude, but I'd go fight them.
I'm planning the heights right now. I'm gonna sneak in. I'm gonna get it back because everyone in Ireland as well, they're like, man, you got to wear that out.
I'll trade you the belt.
Yeah.
I had one more that I wanted to ask you. I actually took fucking notes, which I never do. Actually, no, I got two more. What was when you did after the ADCC performance? What kind of were you pissed at yourself? Like, did you realize right away that it was because you weren't being yourself and you weren't being true to who you are? Or did you, like, what got you from being hard on yourself and disappointed to fuck this and then decimating in, you know, I mean, look, ADCC is the biggest to us, but like doing what you did at an Eddie Bravo event is such a big deal because of what Eddie does, you know, on Rogan's and to get Jiu-Jitsu mainstream. It's fucking on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big fucking deal.
Yeah. I think, well, after ADCC, I wanted to get straight back into it, and I went to do Nogi Worlds. And I did okay at Nogi Worlds, but I still wasn't myself. And it was only over Christmas time, really, when I took maybe a week off and went out with my friends a lot and kind of reset. And then I went back to training with another one of my friends, just me and him, for about 5 or 6 days in a row. And in that 5 or 6 days, I learned more than I'd learned in the last year. I just improved so many skills and had like so many new things to work on. And I was really excited about training again. And then I just decided there's no more excuses. I was kind of, in my head, I was giving myself excuses that, like, I'm sick of losing to people who are fucking taking steroids all the time and this and that. And then I just decided, you know what, they can take all the steroids they want. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to be as good as I can be. And I still think I'll be able to submit, because the guys that do that, they're kind of more, it's not that fun to watch. I just like doing submissions. And
yeah, well, you said that. You said that, you know, submission is the ultimate combat. You said that in your post speech. It was such a fucking movie thing to say. It was so good, but it was like, yeah, I don't care if you're slapping me or on steroids or whatever. Like, you're gonna do fucking jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, only because you're so how old are you?
26.
God damn it.
Are you kidding?
God, motherfucker. All right.
Damn it.
I'm sorry. Drew has a bunch of kids and I'm turning 38. Okay. I haven't asked this question in a while, but you're a wise young man. Do you have any relationship advice?
Any relationship advice?
You heard correctly.
I don't know. I'm not the man to be getting it from, I'd say.
Can I ask you why?
Because I just probably don't have a ton of experience with it, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
if you get that medal back, if you get that big medal,
get the medal
you
back.
won't have lady problems.
Yeah, you get that medal.
I have a girlfriend for the last few years, so I think you'd have to ask her.
Okay. We're going to do...
relationship advice. I would say... What would I say? Submit a legend with his own moves, and then the ladies will definitely not come coming.
Great.
But you'll get a bit of confidence in yourself, and you'll be grand.
Great. Drew, by the way, I didn't tell you because I'm so obsessed with a relationship right now. I canceled Craig Jones to interview Tom's girlfriend.
Son of a bitch.
So I hope you're okay with that. Dude, thank you so much. Honestly, it couldn't happen to a better dude. And like, I'm really psyched for you and psyched to see what happens next.
Nice one. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And thanks for doing all the study and the notes and everything on the show. And hopefully see you guys soon.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I want to roll sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, bro. Talk soon.
Take care, pal.
Thank you.
Bye. Hey, brother.
Not bad.
What's going on?
Thanks for doing this.
You're one of the people who's figured out the audio fastest for Zoom. Not bad. That's a gold medal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nothing is worse than seeing someone you look up to, not being able to hear them, and just seeing them like frantically moving their hands and not knowing how to turn on the audio. It's like, it brings them down a notch for sure.
I didn't even do anything, so now I'm worried I'm going to fuck it up.
That makes me question the other people even more.
You just gave yourself corona by pressing the wrong button.
So Craig, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good.
Right
pretty
on.
Good. How you?
Good. I see you're training over in Danaher's again. You're over on the East Coast, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I just got in on Saturday night, so back to full-time training.
Nice. Okay. So you've been in the States quite a bit doing seminars and stuff, right? I'm curious, do you still call people right good cunts, or has that been Americanized out of you?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I throw it kind of around, but it depends what state I'm in. It wasn't as well received in Utah.
Oh, I want to hear about the time it wasn't well received.
They don't really say anything, but yeah, it's the looks you get. You know what I mean? They don't realize that it's a term of endearment. Right. I would say mate if I was serious. Cunt would be a positive thing.
I love that. I love the idea of it going the other way, where you keep calling someone mate, and he was just like, "This guy likes me," and you're like, "No, this is scrapping talk. If I call you cunt, that means I like you. I'm going to use the word as much as possible in this interview because I think that's my opportunity.
You got a C card?
Yeah.
You can use it for any circumstance. Good cunt, dumb cunt, ugly cunt. The list goes on.
Good cunt and ugly cunt are easily my favorites. But yeah, I remember like most people when they come back, you know, like when people come back from the UK and they start saying cheers and it's like kind of insufferable. When I came back from Australia, I was just on like a cunt tear, and whatever girlfriend I was with at the time, like put the kibosh to that pretty quickly. But it's such a fun word, the hard T.
I mean, I enjoy it. I use it daily.
Yeah. Good man. Yeah, that doesn't seem like something that in the Danaher basement they would be like, hey, we use that language outside, not in here.
That's the least politically correct gym in America, I think.
I hear that.
It is. I remember, I don't know if I can say this, but no, with what Gary posts, I remember the first time I met someone, we can all be the judge and Drew can edit it out. I'll change it just enough to not incriminate anyone specifically. The first time I met someone, before I met John, before I knew Gary, this was probably like fucking 12, 15 years ago. It was before the Death Squad was even a thing. I met this girl. I was doing Muay Thai at the Watt, and I met this girl who trained over there. And I was so fascinated by Danaher, probably because of like the accent. He just seemed like this wise, very chilled out guy. And she trained over there, and I go, what's it like? Like expecting it to be like Tales from a Buddhist temple. And she was like, well, he sits in the corner and he calls us retarded a lot.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, great. Great. Confirmed.
This is how you become a perfect coach, is you sit in the corner and call everyone retarded, and then they win world championships.
I mean, it
Pretty
works.
easy formula.
Yeah, it's working. I remember I brought a friend in there one time recently, actually probably 6 months ago now, and I was drilling with him because it was his first day there. And halfway through, John sent someone over to grab me to drill with someone else. And afterwards, he's like, I had to rescue you from that fucking retard.
You're like my friend?
Yeah.
You mean you're right, cunt.
Yeah, that's right.
So I have a serious question about that. I remember, we're going to relate it to 90s martial arts movies, where my favorite 90s martial arts movie was Best of the Best, where it was the U.S. Taekwondo team, and they faced the Korean team, and one of the people on the Korean team killed the main good guy's brother.
You can do that in Taekwondo?
They did it in Taekwondo. Not only that, I believe in the Olympics. And James Earl Jones was in this movie, by the way. It was like a legit kind of movie.
I have a new appreciation for Olympic Taekwondo right now.
Dude, it was so good. Here's the thing. I went to show a girlfriend that movie once. I legitimately cried at the end, because at the end, he goes, he gets defeated and he goes, your brother was a good fighter, and he was honorable or something, and they hug. And then the second movie got totally Hollywood, and instead of James Earl Jones and the Olympics, it was the Koreans teamed up with the Americans because one of their team members was killed in a Las Vegas underground fight hosted by Wayne Newton. It was great. Anyway,
that sounds horrible.
This reminds me, Craig, of you going over to Danaher's, because you went over there, and I think this is like the coolest fucking thing, and I wish it happened more. Was you going over there, did that tie into after you fought Gordon?
Yeah, basically he beat me 3 times, and I was like, well, he's got to know something. I'm either going to join him or lose a 4th time.
I mean, yeah,
it was friendly to go over, because they sort of had a void in my weight division, so it sort of worked out perfect. I don't know if it would have gone so well if I had been in 77 or 99 kilos.
Sure, but like I'm more curious about your mindset going into that, because jiu-jitsu, we were talking about this with Tom in the early interview. It's this balance where you have to be really confident and you have to have self-belief, but at the same time, if you don't have the humility to balance that, and it goes either you're too self-deprecating or you're too, refusing to see what you saw, it can throw everything off. So what was it? Because I don't think a lot of people would do that. And that's, to me, like as fucking cool as you can get, total 90s martial arts movie, lack of ego, instead of just being like, fuck him, I'm going to fucking use steroids. Like, I'm never going to fight him again, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to visit the Blue Basement and train. So it was like sort of after the first time I visited was after the EBI match with everyone remembers the armbar and stuff. So
yeah.
So we had that match, and then the next week we both competed on Kasai. And after that armbar, they had put us, I think there were 4 locker rooms, but they put me in a locker room with only Henzo guys. It was just me and all of them. So we sort of became friendly as the night went on, and then they asked me to come train after Kasai. So I went in there, and I basically got beaten up pretty bad going in there. And I figured, you know what, like if I want to progress as a grappler overall, I would rather be a great grappler and miss out on some championships than the other way around. You know what I mean? Try and edge these guys out and stay secluded somewhere. So I figured if I'm getting beaten up here worse than anywhere else, this should be the place I set my goals on to stay.
I like that a lot.
Did you find that you were adapting to their style, or that you were just working your own style around it?
Well, my style was probably a ripped off version of their style from watching YouTube matches.
It was the Australian like weird subtitled version.
Just a dollar store Danaher.
Yeah, Walmart Henzo's I came in to visit. And yeah, so it was good just to see how it matched up, like basically what I would try to steal off them on the internet versus facing them in real life, and seeing how John would teach it and stuff, see what things I picked up that were probably correct or what things could have been improved upon.
So I have 2 questions about that. The first part's about the YouTube, because, you know, a lot of times when we coach, we kind of make fun of white belts and blue belts who like don't know how to hold side control, and they're like, I saw a flippy thing on YouTube and they want to learn that. But at that high level that you were at, could you actually pick up stuff from YouTube and implement it? And then what was like the strategy behind it? So if you're just going down a YouTube rabbit hole, I don't retain shit, but do you have kind of like a motivation? I want to learn something from half guard. I'm going to watch this and then I'm going to drill that specifically tonight, or I'm going to try to incorporate it into my rolling.
Well, for me, I've always been watching online stuff. Probably in those early days, I was illegally downloading some of those instructionals. But when I started jiu-jitsu way back, I think, I can't even remember. It was like mid-2000s. My coach in the city I was in was like a white belt. And I'd always wait for him to get promoted, for me to get promoted. So as I started competing, we would always be trying to watch instructionals, match footage, trying to learn from wherever we could, because we'd only have a seminar once a year or something. Someone would come in, show a few tricks, and have followed right up until 2015. At the end of 2015, I moved to Melbourne to train with Lachlan Jarvis, which is a bigger team. But even there, although we had better training partners, we still didn't have the cutting edge techniques, which is around that time was probably Eddie Cummings, Gary Toner. So then we'd be seeing the heel hook threat and how big a impact it was going to have ahead, with so many people ignoring that game. We were just doing match breakdowns, more or less, freeze frame, trying to see what they're doing, grip battles and stuff. But there were no instructionals out then on heel hooks, really.
Man, at that time, watching Gary and Wolverine in EBI2 compete against each other was basically an instructional on how to do it. It was how to attack from Eddie's side and how to defend it from Gary's side. You could rewatch that 100 times and get like a whole tutorial out of it. Yeah,
for sure. That was a key one. And watching how Eddie Cummings would enter the cross archie and stuff from bottom was sort of like cutting edge. I don't think anyone had really ever done that in tournaments before.
I love the idea of you not being able to get promoted till your coach gets promoted, and him like being at a tournament and you being like, get it the fuck together, man. If you don't get promoted, we're both fucked. Jesus.
That's funny.
So what is it about the instruction at Danaher's that is so different, or is it more, I mean, his instruction's obviously great, but is it also just the quality of training partners, you know, the style you guys train is because it's harder rolls, more competitive? You know, what are the things you're getting out of there that may be different from other places you've trained, or places even that you've seen when you do seminars and stuff?
The biggest difference for me is that there's a core group of elite level guys that more or less all do the same thing. Everyone has the same, I guess, like systems. I guess that term's overused for marketing purposes, to sell DVDs. But everyone's doing the same stuff, and everyone goes out to a tournament with loosely the same game plan. Like for ADCC, we all had the same approach, more or less. And when I visit other teams, there is a head coach and a bunch of individuals trying their own thing. So when one of us fails in a tournament, it's a lesson to the whole team because we all have such a similar game. Whereas, say, like say we went to Atos back when Keenan was there, Lucas Barbosa and Keenan couldn't have more different styles. You know what I mean? So when Keenan would say take an L, it wouldn't really reflect too much. It wouldn't be too much to learn from Barbosa. It's like sort of like a hive mind versus individuals.
That's really interesting because I never thought of that. Because when I was at Marcelo's, you had like Gianni who was doing Berimbolo stuff, Bernardo who was deep half, one sweep, one pass. Then Marcelo was Marcelo, and then the other head instructor, this guy Paul Schreiner, he was a Camarillo. He has that. He just is kind of good at everything. But it was wildly different. And to me that was really dope because I'm like, oh, everyone gets to be an individual, but that's such a fucking interesting way to put it that I never thought about it. Instead of personalized notes, John can literally revamp the fucking system because he had the highest level athletes in the world go out and something was off.
Yeah, and basically there's some other details for training there. They do 6 rounds, and of those 6 rounds, you don't know when the round's going to end.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
And there's also no rest in between. And the first 3 rounds are positional. The last 3 are regular. But sometimes it might be 5 positional. Sometimes it might be maybe only 1 or 2 positional. But when I first went there, I was so used to seeing the time on the wall and rolling to that time and using energy appropriately with that time. But when that was taken away, now actually, if I couldn't use energy and muscle things for the whole 6 rounds with no breaks. So it forced me to have to use more technique and understand the positions, because the only way you could roll for an hour straight, more or less, is to have really good technique. Whereas if you see the times running out, you can sort of muscle stuff and prepare for your break coming up.
I didn't know that, and that certainly explains the round I had with Jake Shields. Although I think that would have felt like forever anyway, but I didn't know that. I was just like, the time seemed fucking weird.
We do 3-minute and 46-second rounds here.
Yeah. You can like make a request if I have to go with Jake. Like, can I request a 35-second round?
Jake's the worst guy. You never want to drill at Henzo's with Jake Shields because the first round is positional sparring from mount. And a lot of the time people will ease into it. But Jake has one speed.
He just flashes back to Henderson.
Yeah.
Dude, I heard that Jake had one speed, but I'm like, me and Jake are really good friends. I'm smaller than him. I'm not a professional fighter. Jake has one fucking speed.
He just crushes people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got to interject here because I run a meme page and I want to get to some internet shit.
Oh,
so
yeah,
there are a couple topics that have been spinning around the Craig Jones nebula online. One I want to hit before the other one, and that is not too long ago, you were taking a picture with a giant bag of weed, and this kind of lit up the internet and split people in half. Tell me from your point of view how that went.
Oh my God, I didn't even see this.
Oh, dude.
So I don't even really smoke that much weed, to be honest. But where we were in Portland, and the 2 guys I was with, Hector and Freddie, love weed. And there's a guy that I don't know what he has. He has a grow setup called Keto Captain. He's like some mad scientist up in Portland for weed.
I think that's everyone in Portland.
Yeah. He invited us up to take a tour, so I thought I'd get a photo with the pounds. He had so many different types of weed up there. Some of them literally smelled like cheese, like some stuff I've never smelled before. But I thought I'd get a good photo with them. What's funny is Hector, who runs Leg Locker, shared the photo of me with the weed and got a community guidelines strike. And I got away with it.
Amazing.
Wait, Drew, when you said they were divided, were people like upset
lots of people were very angry because it's the same thing that you see with 10th Planet in general, is that they have this sort of specter hanging over them about smoking weed, and so you get a lot of these traditionalist jiu-jitsu guys about how they don't smoke the heifer and blah blah blah, and you have to
do steroids. You don't
right, the proper drugs.
Yeah, you don't smoke pot like a fucking pussy. Did you smoke more weed on this trip because you were with Hector and Freddie, or do you really, is it like an occasional, I'm fascinated by like weed and jiu-jitsu because I'm a fucking dipshit when I smoke.
All right. No, I don't really smoke. I can't really smoke and function in social settings.
Great.
So
okay,
if I ever smoke, I just in isolation. When I was younger, coming up through purple belt and stuff, I was probably high every day. But
really?
Not so much these days. Yeah.
When did
something shifted. Something shifted in me, and I couldn't function anymore. Dude, I don't know if I had more things to manage in life, so I don't know.
Interesting.
No, I was the same way. I used to be. If you caught me sober, like not stoned, when I was in like high school and in my 20s, like something was wrong. It was like Jamie ran out of money because he spent it all on weed. But like, yeah, then I got older and I just turned into the cliche of like the stoned teenager where I just would just like eat shitty, get paranoid, fall asleep. And I was like, oh, the propaganda. Richard Nixon was right. Like I just, I fell in. I don't know what the fuck happened. Maybe it's just age, or maybe I was always an idiot. And now, Craig, we're just kind of like more aware and we're like, oh, we were always doing this. Time to stop.
Well, actually, someone got us on this tour. I can't remember where we were, but they handed us a bag of edibles at one of the seminars.
No.
So was his last name Diaz?
Diaz. I can't remember who it was, but they didn't tell us how strong they were. And I was skeptical. So
they're always too strong, Craig. That's the answer.
We finished the seminar. We went back. I had a half. Freddie and Hector each had a whole one, and it turned out they were 50 milligrams. So we were all basically having a panic attack in silence with the lights out, but no one said anything, and we were wondering if the other guys were suffering. I didn't want to say anything because I thought those guys might be asleep. The next day, I was fine, and Hector was still having a panic attack.
Oh my God. I want to make a emo record and name it Panic Attack in Silence. So bad right now.
All right. Well, I got to shift now again to the second topic of interest. And forgive me if this has been brought up in other podcasts with you. I tend to forget that there are other podcasts.
Them.
And I figure that everyone just listens to us anyway. So for the first time online on record, another thing that kind of blew up the jiu-jitsu community recently is you had a bit of a fun sparring match with Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And here we go. That's right. So leave to the side that you're rolling with someone who doesn't compete. Being a world-class black belt yourself, you're going to make any brown or black belt look like an idiot who doesn't compete, especially. Give us your impressions of that role.
All right. So the way he runs the gym, I think guys get graded without rolling. Basically, I think a lot of celebrities will do the moves and stuff, but because like they're not allowed to get damaged at all, they're not allowed to get cut, they're not allowed to take any injuries and stuff. So for the most part, they're not allowed to train. So I think also Egan has like some surgeons there and stuff, guys that fingers are too valuable, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So Ashton Kutcher has a background in wrestling.
Yeah.
I think he was like a bit of a freestyle wrestler. They just put up a video of him wrestling with Paulo Costa, and his wrestling actually is probably better than his jiu-jitsu. But as far as when we did the private lesson and we're doing the techniques and stuff, his techniques, he knows all the techniques and stuff, but it's just not like your traditional jiu-jitsu school.
So how do they train there? Do you know? Like, did you do some training there?
Is it like katas almost?
Basically, I think Egan runs them through techniques. Not all the students, because there were students there rolling, but it's sort of like a place where people that can't roll too hard, can't risk, can still train and learn techniques and get promoted. I don't know if he would actually promote someone a black belt. Ashton Kutcher's a brown belt.
So how do you feel about that?
Yeah,
because you're waiting for Lachlan to compete his way to a higher belt so he can promote you. And meanwhile, you got people who don't even roll.
That was a different coach.
It was. Okay.
That was the white belt.
Yeah. It was actually my cousin at the time. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean? I think if it was a gym promoting non-celebrities, it would have a greater effect. I'd feel about it in a worse way, but I would sort of take the good with the bad, and Ashton Kutcher doing jiu-jitsu is good for all of us.
For sure.
Really that's a clear answer.
That's the thing that comes up counter to the point often is like, can't we just be happy that they're enjoying the same art? You know, they don't have to be world champions or even competitors, and it's getting the word out for other people, which is going to help their life. So I understand the counterpoint.
Yeah, it's such a divisive issue, but I couldn't. People were very passionate about it.
Oh yeah, I loved getting into the comment sections and just reading shit for like an hour. It got gross, to be honest, but it was fun from afar.
I got angry. I got angry and replied something, and then it turned into a Reddit thread where I was like, I kind of remember, but they made me out to be the bad guy. But Ashton Kutcher, real nice guy. I think he trains pretty regularly. Whenever he's just doing those privates, doing techniques regularly, and I think like in the situation, I could roll them because it was safe. I know in the past, Ashton Kutcher, he visited Roger Gracie's school in London, and I think they beat the shit out of him. So,
those guys are so fucking big. Like I walked in there and they were all Hodger size when I trained there. It was insane.
Yeah, so even when I travel around and teach seminars, I roll with everyone, but it's still a bit of a weird thing for people to be coming after you. So I'm glad I'm above average size. And I actually trained like a professional athlete. But if I was Ashton Kutcher, I'd be pretty nervous visiting gyms because he's sort of a skinny guy and stuff. People are going to try and take his head off.
Yeah, what's funny is this ties back to our other conversation where I didn't know if I was going to know this story. I took an edible and was having a panic attack, and I thought I imagined that you rolled with Ashton Kutcher when that video came out. I was just like, this surely isn't real life, and I shut my computer. And then I went in the other room.
You'd mentioned something about seminars just now about people coming after you. And I remember hearing Keenan talking about this a little while ago because he got into the habit after doing enough seminars where, again, he's rolling with everybody afterwards, but he goes to these gyms that have like 5 or 6 black belts that want to roll. And he, after some bad experiences, made sure that he rolls with them first. Because a lot of times he's like, these people just sit on the wall and wait till I'm tired, then jump in and try to look like a hero.
Oh,
do you find that?
Yeah, for sure. So I have a few different strategies, right? I say, guys, I'm going to start rolling and I'm going to randomly stop rolling whenever I feel like it. So for any of you sharks waiting for me to get tired, you better try and get in ahead. You know what I mean? And I also have another approach, whereas if I'm rolling at a gym and someone submits me, I don't get angry. I don't even react. But I let them submit me again, and then they don't know if they got me.
That's high-level chess.
I take it away from them, because if they go back to their school or they tell their friends, they're like, I submitted Greg 3 times. They're going to be like, no way.
But twice in a twister. It was wild.
Yeah. People do come after you, though, but I just try and use it for fitness and stuff. It is fun, though. I try to roll in an entertaining way at seminars, try and get them with some sort of bullshit techniques and stuff.
That's fucking great.
I got it. Sorry. Last question for me. Because you've been on this seminar tour with Leg Locker for the last little while here, doing the Fuck Craig Jones tour. Hilarious, by the way. I have a question, because it tends to be when you get into the instructionals and into the seminar world of jiu-jitsu, you kind of get typecast for what techniques people want to get from you. Do you find that it gets tiring after a while if people just want leg locks after leg locks after leg locks from Craig Jones?
Yeah, for sure. But that actually makes me very happy that Lachlan Giles is now that guy. I taught about 100 seminars in a row on just the same stuff, same questions, everything. And I remember after ADCC, I said, Lachlan, enjoy teaching that for the rest of your life.
He's going to have to groom some like purple belt Australian to come and take it away from both of you guys. You just have to like pass it on.
Thank God.
Someone will catch that curse. But I usually mess with people at seminars. I remember when they really were dying for the leg lock stuff. Even before Danaher brought out his DVD, I'd always start it off. Like I'd be like, go to a 10th Planet Scope. Like, all right, guys, we're going to work on rubber guard today. Or maybe self-defense or something.
Self-defense,
see the disappointment.
Yeah.
So funny. What's the this is my last jiu-jitsu question, then I got one more for you. When you're going through a struggle, or maybe coming up when you were going through a struggle, like purple belt, blue belt, when you would hit a wall, for everyone listening who is hitting those walls, what was the thing that kind of got you through? You know, we've heard from some people it's train harder. We've heard from some people it's try to have more fun. What do you try to focus on that kind of got you to this level? Because you still seem like a fucking happy dude, even when you're competing.
Happy cunt.
Happy cunt. Thank you so much.
Well, I try to be so relaxed and happy when I compete, sort of an intimidation thing. Because I know if someone's amping themselves up, I think maybe they're nervous. But if I were to compete against someone that's super relaxed, I'm like, oh shit, he's not even concerned about this at all.
No.
What does he know?
Yeah. But what got me through, I don't know, just finding new techniques. I remember like pages like BJJ Scout and stuff, they would introduce something to the game through match breakdowns that you know it works because it's in a match breakdown. You've seen it done at a high level, and it would be some sort of, not necessarily a trick, but it'd just be something you've never seen before. That would sort of get me motivated when training was getting rough or boring or something like that. Just being able to implement something new, something that maybe other people haven't seen before.
So again, the answer is YouTube.
It's YouTube. We come full circle.
No, but that's like that's a real artist answer, because you hear musicians and comedians, you know, talk about this when someone's getting frustrated that they can't get an agent or they're not getting on TV or whatever. You know, the best comedians in the world, the best musicians in the world are like, right, but go write music or go write jokes. Like, you got in it to be an artist, and that's cool. Like, I've never heard the jiu-jitsu version of that. That's essentially write a new song. It's like, go fuck around with new stuff and remember that jiu-jitsu can be fun and that the learning process is fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, finding new techniques and stuff, or even like borrowing techniques from other martial arts, like obviously wrestling. There's some judo moves, so you could change the no-gi grips and stuff.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga, yeah. Hitting someone with something that they've never seen before, I don't even know what you did really, is probably one of the most satisfying feelings, I think.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so look, I had a phase on the show, I don't know how it started, where I was asking people relationship advice, and we got some shockingly good answers. Then I brought that question back with Tom because he seemed so nice, and he panicked and said he had nothing, and I believe his girlfriend was in the room with him.
I hope you didn't ask Jake Shields' relationship advice.
Oh, sure did. Jake and Gary Tonen's shockingly similar.
Yes.
Which is, let's say, not the most feminist of answers.
I remember Jake Shields once told me he was immune to STDs.
from eating them all? Like, how does that happen?
That's his relationship advice.
Jesus.
Oh, just don't think about him and you won't get him, bro. That's by the way, if he is immune from STDs, that's going to be the new argument I get to get me more people to be vegetarian. I'll be like, hey, you want to fuck without a condom? Stop eating animals. Jake Shields, no STDs on that guy.
Full pack of abs.
Oh, I can imagine his earnest face saying it too. Just like, no, I can't get him. Holy shit. All right. Well, okay. Craig, Jesus Christ. How do you follow that? Do you have any, and you can be as sincere as possible. Do you have any relationship advice, either for the single guys, or I think I don't know if you're in a relationship, or to maintain a relationship?
To maintain, I would say for the jiu-jitsu guys, probably don't date women at your gym.
Interesting. Go deeper on that.
Go deep.
Fucking meme, dark internet Drew. What are you talking about there?
I'm just saying that, like, if you do date a girl at the gym and she's been in the gym for a while, you'd have to be the sort of guy that doesn't mind maybe some paths being crossed with some friends, you know what I mean?
You talking Eskimo brothers here? Or?
Eskimo brothers, you know what I mean? Like, this sport's dominated with men. So if there's a single girl training in the gym, obviously there's a huge pool of guys to potentially date, right? So in my experience and what I've seen at gyms, it causes problems for sure when feelings get hurt either way. So I would say, in my opinion, don't go to the jiu-jitsu gym looking for the next girlfriend. But I mean, if you're a girl, it's probably a great idea. You got a huge pool of guys with similar interests, right?
Well, and the good news is, if you're at Henzo's, it's like, sure, you might have to deal with the awkwardness that someone fucked your girlfriend, but no STDs because you guys are immune to STDs.
Wait a second, is pink eye an STD?
Yeah,
I guess. I was just thinking that. Hey, Jake didn't get it.
That's true. Oh shit, you're right.
Oh, that's right.
That's evidence.
Meat Eater's got it.
but that's actually like a really interesting point because, all right, follow-up dating question, because I think the excitement, like every jiu-jitsu guy becomes obsessed with jiu-jitsu, and same with jiu-jitsu girls. And so the idea of dating someone in the sport is really appealing because you're like, this person's going to understand like sort of my brand of crazy, you know, like this jiu-jitsu obsession or whatever. Would you say, have you seen more successful, or have you been in more successful relationships with like girls who don't do jiu-jitsu at all, and you found a way just to make like normies kind of understand the jiu-jitsu life? Or would you rather date a jiu-jitsu person because you have that camaraderie?
I mean, I think it depends on what type of person you are, because like I would keep the two worlds separate, but say Lachlan Giles, he's married to Olivia Giles, both black belts.
They're so cute together, I know.
Both basically super similar interests and stuff. They pursue that. That works for sure. They've been together a very, very long time. You know what I mean? So there was no like probably not too many dramas when they first started. You know what I mean? But so many times at gyms, you see some crazy shit go down. It's usually always related to some sort of dating, crossing paths. It's entertaining. For my sake, I'd like people to keep doing it.
Yeah, anytime you see two guys beating the shit out of each other, if you pan back, you just see a blue belt girl in the corner being like, "Ah, fuck."
A blue belt guy.
That's so funny. Hey, before we let you go here, is there anything that you want to plug? I know you got your tour that you've been doing. Are you training it for anything, filming anything?
I'm working on some new stuff. Actually, what do I plug? We'll forget about the tag team that happened, but with Submission Underground, I got another match March 29th, but I believe it's going to be closed to spectators. I believe every event coming up, they're shutting down to spectators.
Yeah. Please don't tell me this is Metamoris again.
No, because no. The
coronavirus.
I was talking to my brother about it, and Drew and I were talking about it before. We're like, if Tony and Khabib got canceled over such stupid shit, and everyone's making fun, like, don't wear your sunglasses inside, Tony, and now it gets canceled because of a worldwide fucking virus outbreak. But my brother said, he's like, maybe they'll do it with no audience, and that sounded insane to me. But I think
they're doing that in Brazil this weekend. UFC Brazil's no audience.
I was going to text Kevin because, my friend Kevin's in the fucking main event, and I just assumed it was going to be canceled. But it's just going to be in an empty arena?
Empty event. One FC already did an empty arena. I think they said all events coming are going to be empty arenas. I think that's basically going to be all pro shows coming up.
That's so creepy.
It sounds like one step closer to the actual Kumite. You remember like Mortal Kombat where you get like a black letter and then you fly away to like some island, you don't know what's happening, nobody's there?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's going to be crazy to see a UFC event with no cheering or booing.
It'll be cool until after a winner's declared, the ref has to go like just Charles Oliveira's taken out back.
The Lions.
I'll be interested to see if there's any. I don't know if we notice any differences in the judging, like because do the crowds actually influence in judging or referee stand-ups and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point. Well, dude, listen, thank you so much for doing this. And I got to say, like, I know you kind of, you jumped on the scene pretty, people always say it takes like 15 years to make an overnight success, but like you were one of those dudes where suddenly everyone was like, holy shit. And, I'm just really happy. Like you're so fucking fun to watch. You're such a good dude. I'm glad we became like Instagram homies. And, I wanted to get you on the show for fucking ever. So thank you again for doing it.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, brother.
You're the best cunt we've had. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Cunt. Fucking cunt. You dumb cunt. All right. Bye, buddy.
All right. See you guys.
See ya. Guys, once again, thank you to our guests. Those were fucking great.
I enjoyed those so much. Tom's such a down-to-earth guy, and Craig is just the most wonderful of cunts.
I really struck out on the relationship. Oh, no, I didn't. Because, all right, look, here's the thing, guys. If you are so confident that if you fuck without a condom, you can't get an STD, like Jake Shields, you heard it here first and only here, definitely only here. This is the best jiu-jitsu podcast in the world, by the way.
Only the top science.
Yeah. So if you have that skill, that capability, nay, that superpower, you gonna want to fuck as much as humanly possible. Now, am I gonna fuck roaming the streets with a fucking tattered, gross Pink Floyd shirt, being like, "Hey, ladies, I don't have Corona, touch it"? No.
I don't know, not from what I heard.
No, but I'm definitely gonna fuck if I'm wearing some sweet ass gear from SUPERAREshop.com.
You know what I hear? I hear it's actually a problem when you wear this stuff too much and you get like real tired of fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem. You start getting like piled on, and like, ladies, come on, guys, deal with it. Like, I know I'm sexy. It's hard to deal with, but we're in public. Put your pants on.
I have fucked an unconscionable amount of men this week. I have fucked so many men that, I mean, according to Mike Pence, that's what caused the coronavirus. God is smiting me for fucking all these guys. And not only that, by the way, real talk, since our SUPERARE sponsorship, and since I have been single, Drew as a friend off air knows, I've only said like a little bit of it on air. And even that's been a lot. I have had a lot of pussy thrown at me.
Non-stop pussy.
Non-stop pussy. And I have been so good. And I have said no. Although, like, the people who wanted to fly here, it's like they would have brought Corona to my town. That would have actually been God punishing me, by the way. It's like if I went back on my celibacy and then they just flew it in from fucking Memphis.
Jamie's like, not today, you omnipotent God. I got this. Stopped it in its tracks.
I do love the fact that someone actually posted a meme about this where I'm like, maybe I am ready to date. You know, these girls are kind of cool. And then God's like worldwide pandemic. And I'm like, cool. I get it. So anyway,
Zip
guys,
up the pants.
The reason that my pants have to be chastity
padlocked,
belted shut is because I wear dope ass gear from fucking SUPERARE, and you too. Muhammad Ali gear, Bruce Lee gear, so much cool stuff, boxing gloves, mouth guards, and all of this stuff. Like if you need regular fight stuff, all this stuff, you also get 15% off, and you get to support our sponsor, which is supporting our podcast, which is supporting me and Drew, especially Drew right now, who has children and is closing his gym down and doing the right thing because he's not a fucking idiot. Go to SUPERAREshop.com, use promo code RearNaked, you get 15% off.
Hell yeah. I think they should change their motto from, I don't know what it is right now, but SUPERARE should be SUPERARE. SUPERARE, get our clothes on to take their clothes off.
Oh my God, that's really good. Wait, let me try. SUPERARE, dicks go in Pussies. Nope.
Nailed it.
Okay, great.
Print it. First draft.
Thank you so much, Drew. Cool. Reverse Kimura series. Still doing that deal?
Hell yeah. We got 15% off. Check out the link in my bio on Because Jitsu. Make sure to follow the Jamie Kilstein on Instagram. He's blowing the fuck up right now with awesome BJJ sketches.
Yeah, I got like 1,000 new followers this week. I'm gonna do a sketch.
Legit.
I'm gonna do a sketch every day. Most will probably be jiu-jitsu, but the ones that aren't jiu-jitsu still watch because they're dark and sad. And I fucking love the one today. It is flopping compared to the jiu-jitsu ones, but it made me laugh. So I'm just such a bad person in it, and it made me laugh very hard. And I have some fucking great ideas. So yeah, at the Jamie Kilstein. What else you got to plug? Oh, Jamie Kilstein podcast. Drew and I. Oh, we should say this. Obviously, we're not going to be in Miami for Subversive. So follow them. Follow CBD. What's his new fucking handle? It's not CBD and me.
YNM the original.
Yeah, they're going to be doing some stuff. And, you know, again, guys, everyone is struggling right now. So do what you can to support your gym, to support the fighters you like, to support the entertainers you like. Yeah. You know, all of our tour dates got canceled. Lots of people, myself included, have Patreons. Like, now's the time. We all got to kind of like take care of each other a little bit. So if someone does the work you appreciate, find a way to support them, whether it's, you know, buying a Drew series, checking out my podcast for free, or joining the Patreon. But definitely for this podcast, supporting the sponsors. And the most important thing you can do is get the fucking word out. Post your favorite parts of the show, quote it. Drew and I always Instagram story it. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care out there. Don't get the COVID. Love you all.